Graduates, it's taken years of hard work and accomplishment to reach this milestone. However, in addition to hard work, I suspect that the support of family and friends has also been crucial to your success. Whether you're in the main auditorium or in our overflow rooms, if you are a family member or a friend of one of the graduates, please stand so we can recognize you. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to also express a word of appreciation to our staff and volunteer students who have helped to make this evening possible as well. When I was growing up in Atlanta, one of my neighbors was a graduate student in physics at Georgia Tech. His name was Johnny Ford, and when he noted my interest in science, he took me under his wing when I was in grade school. I remember sitting at his kitchen table while he pulled out a quad-ruled tablet and explained things like the complex number plane to me. He also had a shop in his basement, and there he showed me how to make several very interesting circuits. One was a spark gap transmitter for sending Morse code. The key component was an audio transformer that was used to step up voltage from a battery. Now, I know it's hard to believe that I'm old enough to remember this, but at that time, vacuum tube radios were still fairly common. In contrast to transistors that are typically low voltage, high current, vacuum tubes are high voltage, low current devices. So to properly match the high output impedance of a vacuum tube amplifier to an 8-ohm speaker, you generally need a transformer with a fairly large turns ratio and a reasonably high voltage rating. This was the type of transformer that we used in our project. The low impedance side of the transformer was used as the primary and was connected to a push button, a buzzer, and a battery. The high impedance side was connected to 2 wires bent to form a spark gap. The buzzer was one of the old electromechanical ones that interrupted the current, creating the AC needed to generate a high voltage in the secondary. Pushing the button then generated a continuous spark gap, spark in the gap, creating wideband interference that could be heard on most any radio or TV, regardless of the channel. Johnny made me promise not to stand outside his living room and use the transmitter. I should add that at that time, people actually connected their TVs to antennas, so it was an issue. Another particularly memorable experiment involved using much higher voltages generated by a different kind of transformer to create a corona discharge in the air and make a small pinwheel spin. However, I won't describe this in detail for fear that someone will hear this and attempt to try this at home. These tutoring sessions and experimental adventures with Johnny helped to fuel my interest in circuits and physics, and as they say, the rest is history. I've lost track of Johnny, so just in case he happens to hear these remarks, I would like to say thank you for sharing your time and passion with the little kid down the street. I suspect that many of you have had a similar experience. Someone along the way shared their interest in engineering or science with you or encouraged you to pursue electrical or computer engineering. And this encouragement played a major role in your achieving the milestone accomplishments that we recognize today. Over the coming years, I encourage you to think about how you might give back and encourage younger students. This could take the form of visiting an elementary or high school, helping with a summer camp, or helping NC State continue to provide a world-class education. Although for many of you this graduation marks a departure from NC State, it's really just the beginning of a lifelong relationship. It's very important for us to keep in touch because our success is intertwined from this point forward. The success of the ECE department will increase the value of your degree, and your success will enhance the stature of the department. This symbiotic relationship is important to us both. And with regard to keeping in touch, I can also attest to the fact that there are few things that professors enjoy more than hearing from former students. So with that, I'm happy to conclude our ceremony. Let's hear it one more time for the class of 2016. I'd like to ask, if you would, to remain seated while the faculty recess, and then to ask the guests to remain seated while the graduates recess. And then I would like to invite everyone to join us for a reception in room 2, which is to your right as you exit the rear doors for a reception.